alongside Invincible and Daredevil Born Again, we have the fifth season of The Boys has dropped with its first 2 episodes. And before I gave my thoughts on these 2 episodes, I gave my thoughts on the show overall. First and foremost, I was also late to this show too because I've always wanted to watch this show pretty much ever since it came out in 2019. I was too young for it, and also I had other shows to watch at the same time. I didn't have time for it. When January 2026 started, I had not much things to do. So, and especially considering we have season 5, I thought it was the perfect time to finally experience the show. And I loved it. I really thought it was a very crazy, disgusting, gory show with crazy characters like Billy Butcher, Jack Quaid as Huey Campbell, Starlight, Frenchie, Mother's Milk, Kimiko, but of course, the big bad Homelander, one of the greatest villains on TV so far, alongside other members of the Seven, like the Deep, who is a crazy character, version of Aquaman, Black Noir, it was a cool, muted version of Batman, Queen Maeve, as well as Soldier Boy, one of the best characters in the show, played by Dean Winchester, Jensen Ackles. Victoria Newman was a solid character. And really thought the idea of superheroes being celebrities, but they're also crazy psychopaths, mainly Homelander, as well as the Deep and Black Noir and Soldier Boy, and the bunch of vigilantes tried to stop them in multiple ways. That was a very awesome concept and it has some very interesting satire in the show and commentary with politics and stuff like that. I'm not into politics. Those are not my cup of tea at all. But the commentary in the show that the show and what it's trying to say is really good and really kind of important, not important, but kind of crucial to the show as well, the commentary. So I had some high expectation for season 5, even if season 4 was not as great, didn't live up to the greatness of the first 3 seasons. But I was still very excited for season 5, and it's also the final season, which, after season 4, I think it's kind of best to leave after season 5 and not have like 15 seasons like Supernatural does, mainly because this has a reunion with Jared Padalecki and Misha Collins. Not in these episodes though, but very excited for that. So what are my thoughts on the first 2 episodes of The Boys so far? I think it's really good. I really thought these 2 episodes were really good. I really enjoyed them. First and foremost, Homelander steals the show, man. Like he's like I said, one of the greatest villains we have seen in years. Like he's more than just evil Superman. Like he's a true great well-written villain. And he is this crazy psychopath who kills whoever he wants, and mostly doesn't feel remorse about it. And he's a really huge big threat to Huey, Starlight, and of course Butcher, pretty much almost to everyone. And it starts out with him giving a speech, but then later the Flight 37 video gets released to the public, and Homelander's quite feels concerned about it, but him and the other people who are sides with him believe that it's AI and tries to convince everyone that it's AI, and so it doesn't fully work. Not the whole world has turned against Homelander. Which I thought at first when the Flight 37 video got released, I thought they were gonna like, boo! I got you, Homelander! But no, not that. But people fear him still, like when he is on the news with Firecracker. People who do his makeup scared of him, and too. And And he also Black Noir is kind of in being trying to be Black Noir now, and not just all jokey like in the last season. And the D tries to tell him to just be yourself, not don't just be Black Noir, a Black Noir, just be who you were previous season. And also the Deep has a podcast as well, which is kind of funny. Thought the Deep was a really weird character in these two episodes, but also very funny as well. Um, I thought eight. I'll get into any trade later. Kimiko is a talker in this season now, which I mean, I know she already talked with like saying shine no when Frenchie was taken. But at first she was still gonna be muted, especially when she talks to this kid, before she gets recruited by Butcher. Um, but when she reunites with Starlight, she talks, which is kind of insane, honestly. But I thought it didn't bother me. I thought she was still a very cool character, and thought her and Frenchie were great together. And oh, and I do think Starlight was solid in these episodes. I really do think she's one of the greatest good characters in the show as well. Um, and Butcher's still quite a presence. Carl Urban is perfect for this character, and he has a very both a fun but also very intimidating presence, especially at the first scene he shows up with his father. I think he killed him, honestly. He who and it was kind of interesting because I thought they were like the boys were gonna turn against him because of what he did in the last season where he killed Vicky Newman and like leaves them, and especially after when he becomes a soup with like nest powers. But no, he stills with them and tries to help Starlight and Kimiko to save Huey, Frenchie, and Mother's Milk from a prison camp which is a Homelander themed prison camp where were about to get executed, and anyone who escapes that camp gets killed immediately, and is guarded by the dude who has the long thing, and also this other soup that explodes people, and Huey also befriends this person named Lucy, I believe. But then Huey, Frenchie, Mudmilk go underwater and sewer for a bit, but then comes back to prison camp where he sees everyone, see a lot of inmates get killed by Homelander, and it's a very creepy scene with Homelander and Huey. Like every time Homelander talks to the heroes or anyone else, like the Deep and Black Noir, Black Noir is he is I get nervous when he shows up. He's truly a terrifying presence in this show, man. He is not one to mess around. Um, and I really thought the prison camp sequence where they all escape, and not all of them escape. Some of the inmates get free, but some of them get killed. But the boys should survive. And Kimiko gets her leg split apart, or get lasered by Homelander. Um, and I thought the way they killed the dude with the long thing, and as well as the tried to stop the other soup with that powers that can explode people, was very awesome and brutal and gory action sequence. And and also Billy Butcher recruits this soup named Worm who can eat grass and fart grass too. He recruits him for his help to find Huey, Mother and Frenchie for help. And let's talk about A Train now. Of course, A Train was redeemed in season 4, and he would become friends with Starlight and Kimiko and the other boys. And he has a conversation with the Deep where he tells the Deep that he's afraid of Homelander, but the Deep refuses to to confirm that he is. But I mean, obviously you can tell. I mean, when he talks with Homelander alongside Black Noir, you can tell he's afraid of Homelander. You can tell that. But I wonder if he's gonna betray. Really curious if he's gonna betray him later in the show. Not in the show, later in the season. I mean, this is the final season, but who knows? But Adrian was very cool in this episode, and of course he becomes a good guy in this finally after season 4, and he probably one of the coolest scenes in the show is probably him saving Huey and MM and during the prison camp at the end of episode 1, and confronts Homelander and chases him and runs away from him while Homelander chases him. And at first it seemed like he almost ran into this woman, like kind of like how he did in the first episode where he killed Huey's first love interest, but he didn't. She survived. But then A-Train gets hit by a bunch of trees, and then Homelander confronts him, and it doesn't go end well for A-Train, unfortunately. After he tells him that he's weak, he's nothing, Homelander snaps him, which kind of was crazy that A-Train unfortunately gets killed, because that was a very good redemption arc for A-Train. Sucks we will never get to see him again. But he had a good legacy. And then episode 2 comes where they have a ceremony funeral for A-Train. But Homelander's doesn't feel great about it. I can tell he feels a little nervous or sad during this first opening scene. And then later he gives a speech to A-Train's funeral at A-Train's grave, where he feels sad about what he did, and then later he decides to recruit his father, Soldier Boy, and wakes him up, and decided to make him the number 2 on the 7 team, really awesome to see Soldier Boy. Really probably the best part of season 3, of course. It's cool to see more of him, and we're gonna get more of him in Vault Rising next year, I believe. Yeah. And he hires him to stop Butcher, Huey, and Starlight, and the boys are also making this virus that can kill Soups, created by Shamir, with the help of him. And they also go to this room, see Rock Hard, who is this Soup that is fully volcanic, and also can speak and I think communicate with a computer. I think it's kind of funny everything that he says. And meanwhile, Mother's Milk meets up with this young superhero who can control crows. And first it started off heated, but they kind of become cool together, honestly. And also there's in this episode we see TikTok super soups called Teenage Kids, who are also kidnapping people and send them into prison camp as well. And also there were memes about the first episode of Flight 37. We see the teenage kids doing that, which I think was kind of funny. I thought they were funny, also insane characters in this episode as well. In episode 2, especially when they see Soldier Boy fighting Butcher, and then Soldier Boy tells them to find Kimiko and Huey, and it made for a fun action between moment with Butcher and Soldier Boy confronting each other before he throws a car at Soldier Boy. That was very fun. And then And then Soldier Boy jokes Huey and tells him about and as it grabs the virus bucket, but it was but it was too late for all the soups because him, Jetpack, and Rahar gets stuck in the in the place where they all get poisoned by the virus, which is all over the place. And but then the other boys grab gas mask and leaves the place, and they left them to die. But Soldier Boy's not dead because at the last shot of the episode, he gets resurrected, which is kind of awesome. And Homelander also feels sad about like initially losing Soldier Boy too. After talking with the Deep, so he kind of feels a little sad about some people that died in front of him, died. But Soldier Boy was still alive. Which is kind of not surprising. I mean, he showed up in other shots in the trailer besides this episode, so he'll be back. So, yeah, overall, I thought the first 2 episodes of this 5th season of The Boys is pretty good. I really enjoyed them, and I really think Ron and Wonder was going if Huey and Annie will get together. I mean, they kind of get back together for a little bit in episode 2 where they go wild with each other. But after that, especially when Frenchie and Kimiko get together and Huey and Annie look at each other, is kind of a little complicated, honestly. Complicated. So I wonder how things are gonna work out later in this season between the two. So yeah, overall, that's my thoughts on The Boys Season 5 episodes 1 and 2. So what are your guys' thoughts on these episodes? And peace out. Bye. See you for more epic videos and reviews.